The senior senator from Tennessee.
Thank you, Madam President. I so agree with my colleague from West Virginia and on her comments about this budget. Here it is. I would encourage our citizens to pick it up and give it a read and look at some of the things that they are going to find in here. I think they're going to be aghast at what they find in here. $477,000 to the IRS for equity training so that they can put an emphasis on equity. These are just some of the porked up things that you're going to find in this left-leaning, radical, unrealistic wish list of a budget that this administration has brought forward. It really is a blueprint to socialism. Let's put the government in charge of everything, your life from daylight to dark, every time you are out and about. Let's have control over your gas stove, over your washing machine, over your shower head, over your toilet flusher. That is what my colleagues on the left see. That is their goal, control over the people, governing by the elite for the elite. That's what they're all about. But I want to drill down a little bit on this funding request for the Internal Revenue Service. Now, President Biden is expecting the IRS to go to work getting not just a few dollars, but getting $4.7 trillion in new taxes. Imagine that. Tennesseans do not want to pay the government more of their hard-earned paycheck. They don't want to give it up to a government that is wasting that money because they realize that it is our children and our grandchildren, our precious ones, that are going to have to pay the cost for this. It is compromising their futures on programs they don't want with money that we don't have. Why are you seeing all these tax increases? You're seeing them because the spending is out of control. A $6.9 trillion budget, $4.7 trillion in new taxes, a budget that on year one, Madam President, the deficit for year one is $1.8 trillion. That is how far out of balance this budget is. That is why this thing is a wish list. It is a wish list of programs. If you want to see how the left views the world, pick it up, give it a read. If you want to read in those words how little respect they have for the American people, for hard-working taxpayers, pick it up. They want your money. Now, on the IRS in this fiscal year 2024, they will increase their appropriation to $14.1 billion. Now, that's a $1.8 billion increase from the 23 enacted levels. And we know that in the Inflation Reduction Act, what did the IRS get? Oh, $80 billion. How about that? So the IRS now is going to have $94.1 billion to spend. Well, let's just ask a question. What do we think the IRS is going to use this money for? Do we think they're going to use it to make the agency more user-friendly? Do we think they're going to use it to have people pick up the phone and say, "Hi, I'm your friendly IRS agent. How may I help you today?" We know that's pipe dreaming. That's not what they're going to do. $80 billion plus a record $14.1 billion in an appropriation. They're going to use this money for what? More audits. Because why? President Biden wants $4.7 trillion with a T, $trillion in new taxes. Where do we think he's going to get this money? Oh, they like to say, it's going to come from corporations. It is going to come from extremely wealthy individuals and billionaires. But you know what? There's a problem with the math on that, Madam President. The numbers just don't work. It doesn't add up. Where are they going to get it? They're going to get it from small business manufacturers, from Main Street merchants, from the restaurant in your community. They're going to go get it from the manufacturing plant in your community. How about the HVAC contractor? How about the plumbing company? This is where they're going. Sound familiar? Of course it does, because it is the middle income earner that gets hit every single time, without fail. They're the ones that get hit by the tax increases that the Democrats are wanting to push forward. Now, we know that the IRS is not going to make that agency more friendly. We know it is not going to be there to protect you, the hardworking taxpayer, but we do know that what they will do is wallop you upside the head and say, you owe this money, we're going to audit you. It's going to happen time and again. And on top of all of this, inflation is soaring. Grocery prices up about 20%, gasoline prices 45%, natural gas prices 43%, electricity prices have increased 24%, clothing prices are up 12%. But in this budget, there's nothing addressing inflation. There's nothing that's going to bring inflation down. There's not a lot of attention paid to crime in the streets or gangs that are coming across the border, or the fact that the chief of the Border Patrol has said today that they do not have, the U.S. does not have operational control of the border. There's not a cent there to build that wall, but there is money in there to pay for attorney fees for illegal immigrants. Wrong set of priorities, not what the American people are wanting, certainly not what Tennesseans are wanting to see, and not the accountability and transparency the American people expect from their government. I yield the floor.
Madam President.